Okay, so moving right along in the book of Job with our Bible study. Chapter 17. And if you saw some of these other videos of the ranting and raving and letting emotions fly, it's always a good thing to let off steam, especially when nobody gets hurt. Just let off the steam, let it blow, because life can get pretty shitty. Anyways, so recovering from shit and stuff like that. Chapter 17, my spirit is broken. My days are cut short. The grave awaits me. Surely mockers surround me. My eyes must dwell on their hostility. Give me, O God, the pledge you demand. Who else will put up security for me? You have closed their minds to understanding. Therefore, you will not let them triumph. If a man denounces his friends for reward, the eyes of his children will fail. God has made me a byword to everyone, a man in whose face people spit. I've been spit on before, and I spit back twice. My eyes have grown dim with grief. My whole frame is but a shadow. Upright men are appalled at this. The innocent are aroused against the ungodly. Do we still even have people that are innocent? I mean, once they hit 18 or 21, I mean, how innocent? I mean, once they get married, or whatever. I mean, wow. One of my daughters is one of her favorite things to do is watching those murder television shows on unsolved murder mysteries stuff. I mean, there goes her innocence. Huh. That's in her dad's house. But anyways, nevertheless, the righteous will hold to their ways, and those with clean hands will grow stronger. Wash your hands with soap. Wash them, wash them, wash them. Scrub the little nails. Strengthen your hands. Squeeze those balls. Not those balls, but those hand balls. And work with your hands, because, hardworking hands are strong hands. Don't use them to choke people. You don't want to choke people. You're not supposed to choke people. If you want to choke someone, you grab a pillow and choke the pillow. And you leave people alone. That's a good advice there. But come on, all of you, try again. I will not find a wise man among you. My days have passed, my plans are shattered, and so are the desires of my heart. Oh God, don't I know how that feels. These men turn night into day. In the face of darkness, they say, light is near. There's light at the end of the tunnel. There always is. So for some people, you want to stay away from the light. You don't know what's going to be on the other side of the tunnel. That's part of the problem too, is when you die, you don't know where you go. You don't know what that is. You can only imagine. I've been close to death before, so and I've talked to people who have died and were brought back. They were actually pronounced clinically dead, and then they were brought back. And their experience is that it's not bad. It's peaceful. It's kind of like life. It can be peaceful. So, and life can be full of turmoil and storms and shit storms, but there's moments of peace. Alcohol and certain pharmaceuticals and certain chemicals and drugs and street drugs and all sorts of crap like that, and smoking, all that stuff that damages our bodies, can alter our reality and alter where our brain is. And alcohol is a depressant and a toxin. It slows your brain down. It can also bring out some emotions that some people might consider demonic or angry, because anger is not a good thing to have, but we all do have it. It's just, how do you deal with it? That's the question, is how do you deal with your anger? Some people deal with their anger by using other humans as punching bags. That's not usually a nice thing to do. And it can do brain damage even in a boxing ring or on a football field. Some people use their anger, they channel it into being productive. They will chop wood or pull weeds, or they'll get out all of that built up energy. They'll go running, they'll box, they'll do boxing. I know I've got a couple of young men, boys that I raised, and I know they have that energy. And I lived with a man that had a lot of pent up frustration and energy for 20 years. So I know about male violent tendencies. Sometimes living with certain men, it's almost like living with a gorilla. And sometimes living with certain women, it's almost like living with an angry bear, a mother bear. So you gotta watch out. Anyways, keeping everybody safe. A lot of times you get into a situation like that because you don't get what you want. That's a bugger, when you don't get what you want. Especially when you work really hard for something and you still don't get what you want. When you work really hard and you just don't, whatever it is you're working towards, nobody cares. That's a bugger. So if the only home I hope for is the grave, if I spread out my bed in darkness, if I say to corruption, you are my father, and to the worm, my mother or my sister, where then is my hope? Who can see any hope for me? Will it go down to the gates of death? Will we descend together into the dust? That's an interesting, okay, so corruption, it's in our system. There's a separation of church and state, and they work hand in hand to reward those who are the most corrupt. That's just how it works. Those who take the most advantage of the weaker and disadvantaged and the poor. So he who has little, even more, what he has will be taken away. I've seen police do sweeps with homeless people where they hardly have anything. They've got a tent, they've got a little bit of stuff that they can carry around, and they have nowhere to store it. And so police will come and confiscate stuff, and then they have to start all over again with nothing. That's scary, and it's like almost inhumane to treat other humans that way. It's scary. It's just, there's a lot of issues to do with homelessness in my community, and I'm sure everywhere. And now we've got a pandemic on top of it. Boy. So right now, this is a season of death. It will pass. And then our world will go back to dealing with daily death in a smaller amount. But whenever someone dies, their world is over. It's the end of their world. The world will continue on. But on the day I die, my world will be over. How I see the world will come to an end. And the only thing that I will have is what I've left behind. Or who I've left behind. Or who has left me behind. So, onwards and upwards. And it's a good thing we can find forgiveness. Even if others don't extend it to us, we can forgive them, and we can forgive ourselves if you're able to.